Welcome to the Pro-Black Perspective, where black problems are addressed with black solutions. Your host tonight is the author of the Pro-Black Compendium and Zuberi and the Maroons of Ma'at, the Pan-African Nationalist, Oni. Oni, what are we discussing tonight?
Hotep fam, Hotep, you're tuning into the Pro-Black Perspective on KWAZ Radio. Today, we're going to be discussing the enemies within. And title for this one, this is episode 19, so this is about killing doctors and drowning mamas. Shit. You understand? I think you're going to enjoy this one. It's going to be quite exciting. But before we get started, I want to remind you that we're part of a podcasting network on KWAZ Radio. And of course, shout out to Kofi. The first comment says, greetings. Let me just play you guys this.
This is D Webb with the Harsh Reality Podcast, asking you to tune in where we tackle the news of the day that affects our community, only on KWAZ Radio.
Greetings, everyone. This is Koku from the Bitter Medicine Podcast, inviting you to tune in to the Bitter Medicine Podcast on KWAZ Radio.
Greetings, fam. Tune in to The Learning Curve with me, the Revolutionary Matron on KWAZ Radio.
You are listening to the Pro-Black Perspective on KWAZ Radio.
All right, so we're going to start off with some BANs. By the way, I'm gonna ask you all to send me some clips of what do you think is representative of these subjects. You're gonna see what I mean when we get to the manginas and the pass me's, okay? Because I saw this video and I was like, that's a pass me. That's got to be the transition between these sections. You know, you see how I just go BAN, ABA, so on and so forth. I'm gonna start putting some clips just to transition so people could be positioned into what it is. Now, this first prompt, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I didn't read it. I did not read it. Don't plan on reading it. It's the root, and all you gotta say is like this is just BANs. You know, like you don't even gotta look. You know, it's like one of them. It's one of them. Maybe I might dabble. I don't know, but I legit saw this and I was like, yup. Yup. So I don't look at this. Amber Heard verdict sends a message to black women everywhere. Don't even make any sense. It's like, you know, this is us. This is not even, I shouldn't say us. This is how the Ascati are. You know, these white folk, white American man has a court case with a white American woman. And then, I don't know if I don't know who was running the route, but the new left, I mean the new blacks, you know, but the black, whatever it is, right? The BANs are saying, you better watch out, black women. I mean, I gotta be honest with y'all. So one thing I'm picking up on is that I can't decide. I can't distinguish between who has the bigger victim complex? You know, the white American or the black American? Blacks or whites? You know, if y'all listen to how white people talk, they were like, you know, we're losing our population. We're dying. No, we can't be ourselves anymore. Our culture is being eroded. We're being replaced. And it's just like, you know, they on the top, they doing good for themselves. Now, black Americans, they're not really universally doing good for themselves, but the people down at the root, they eating. You understand? If y'all saw the lady who runs BLM, she eating. You know, she eating in a mansion. She paying her ex, her baby daddy, $1 million to create content. They eating, but still, oh my gosh, this white woman was punished for defecating on a bed. I don't know the traits. I know that somebody ridiculed that. She was punished for defecating on a bed. Oh, we're next. What? How you? Not even. I'm not even. Like I said, I didn't read it. I saw some people, like there's a little bit of a pushback. But, what did I miss? Did Amber lie about her race as well? Amber Heard verdict sends a message to black women everywhere. If the mistreatment of a wealthy, blonde-haired, blue-eyed white actress is ridiculed by the world, what does that mean for black women? And this is the black woman writing this. Now, because, Candace McDuffie. And I mean, some of y'all like, did you just assume her gender? Remember that joke? Back in the day, we used to joke about that. Now it's just like, whatever. Don't assume. Like, ask. But anyway, that's the conversion. But of all the, on behalf of all black women in the world, we kindly reject this message. I just want to know how we as a group got in the conversation in the first place. This is sad. And this is what is considered, this is what's passing for legal. This is illegal. Oh my gosh. Like, doom. Like maybe that's what I need to put in this transition video. I'm telling you, my transition video is gonna be nice. Y'all gonna get ready for it. But we're not even gonna go into that because that's just stupid. So now we're gonna do some. Now we're gonna be the villain. So this week I decided to be the villain. I have this quote unquote African American coworker, and she was telling me some stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna troll her. Now she don't follow my social media, so I had to call her up and be like, this is what I put on social media. And she's like, why would you do that? I'm like, yeah, I'm just trolling. It's just trolling. But anyway, for real though, there was this like, y'all gotta go listen to Shoot the Breeze. Make sure you guys subscribe to the Bit of Medicine podcast, the Harsh Reality podcast, and of course the Learning Curve. But make sure you guys subscribe to these accounts because apparently, you need 1,000 subscriptions as well as you need so many watch hours. I don't have the watch hours, all right? Bit of Medicine is telling me he got the watch hours. He don't got the subscriptions, okay? So I want y'all to go over, give him some subscribes, but also listen to his program. There's this brother there, Gas Him Up. He's really interesting too. Gas Him Up. And he has a program as well, right? But Gas Him Up is always talking about how when he comes to America, okay, this is actually a pretty interesting story. He comes to America and he's chilling, with his, with the black Americans, he's just chilling with his friends. And then, Martin comes on. And in Martin, all right. So in Martin, there's there's like a running joke, or like in black humor, there's a running joke where, the man steps out of line. Or the man does something, does whatever. And then the woman says, go sleep on the couch. Right? And, okay, hold on a second. Yeah, so anyway, so the woman says that. And then what happens is, all right, so what happens is, all right, anyway, so like, let me just go back to this. Let me just go back to this conversation, right? Actually, let me see if you guys, so on and so forth. Let me see what the comments are. Tcum says, RGB, we in here. Kofi says, shout out to STP, good show. Yeah. Harsh Reality says, peace, fam. All right, back. So I kind of am trolling, right? Where I say something like, so basically this guy who decides to speak for every immigrant on the planet. But he goes and says something along the lines of immigrant parents do not like black people, which is, what immigrants, but I guess he's talking about, his parents. His parents didn't like black people, okay? Which doesn't make any sense, again, because his parents would be black, but whatever, right? My father used to explicitly tell me not to marry American black women, okay? Now, again, this is a complicated conversation. Now, this guy's gonna be in the BAN because one, like, why do you gotta say something like this? I mean, what we have to, it's kind of like what our bookman says here. You hope to accomplish what with this announcement? And this guy is talking about the parents, but say immigrant parents. Dude, just say my immigrant parents. Yeah, I mean, like, the reality is this: we have to stop romanticizing what our parents are. Okay, what our parents are. Parents are, like when we're kids, our parents are something amazing, something magical. It's like right now to my son, I'm something amazing and magical, you know? And he's going to look at my every move and then make judgment. You know, he might be like my son might say, you know, like he might get older and be like, man, black radicals are, you know, they're black radicals, but they still play white video games. You know, like he might say that. He might say black radicals. He might go online and be like, all black radicals play white video games. You know, and it's like that's not necessarily true. That's just a trait of the parent that you have. You know. Like, that's not going to necessarily apply to any other adult, per se. You know? Not to say we don't all play white video... No, I'm joking. No, but, like, seriously, it's like, you can't look at your parents. Like, you have to grow up, basically. You have to get older and then say to yourself, you know what? I'm now 30. And when I was 12, my father was 30. Or whatever. You know? My mother was 30. What have you. Right? And she saw the world how I see the world now. She wasn't necessarily perfectly wise. When I was 12, I might have thought, whoa, this woman has it all. This woman is an adult. She's an authority. She's representative of my culture. She's representative of my background. She's representative of my people. Right? You might have said that when you were 12, but by the time you reach 30, 40, and I mean, maybe this man never reached that age. I don't know. But by the time you reach a greater age, you realize that your parents are not representative of the entirety of your culture. They are not representative of the entirety of your custom, and they might actually be idiots. You know? Or they might be silly, and just to make it a little blunt. I mean, not blunt, to make it, you know, not sting as much. You know? I could say for what it's worth, my mother did hate on other groups. She didn't hate on African Americans though, right? But she did hate on like Haitians and Trinidadians. I think, and also Jamaicans, right? She was a Jamaican herself, right? But she was also like a super Christian. Okay, she was also a super Christian, and as a super Christian, it was like, you know, like you could easily say, hey, you know, this is not necessarily going to be a source of critical thinking. And you might be on her ass, like when you're a kid, you might be like, wow, she's an authority. She's telling me you got to believe because, you know, that's what it is. And you're like, I'm a little doubtful. I'm a little skeptical. And she's like, well, this is it. You know, I'm wiser than you. I'm smarter than you. And, you know, at the time she was wiser and smarter than me. But now that I'm 32, 30 as well. Well, I'm not 30, but you know, you get what I'm saying? Like I'm in my 30s as well, right? I could be like, you know what? Yeah, my mom was deceived. And that's fine. And that's how you have to, or we have to tackle, we have to grasp not just our own adulthood, but the adulthood of other people. Just understand that the same idiots you see on social media, they are parents. You know, the same FBA people, for instance, they are parents. In fact, Tariq Nasheed, I just saw a video of Tariq Nasheed yesterday. Make sure you guys check out Shoot the Breeze. Although I've seen that our brother Expounds put it on YouTube as well. I didn't put it on Twitter. But the Tariq Nasheed's getting schooled by these white boys who are disrespecting him. He's a father of several children. You know? Like just understand, this grifter, this grimy grifter is a parent as well. So anyway, let me go back to it. I say, look, this isn't universal, and it's more complicated than what happened in your household. It's more complicated than what happened in your household speaks to the entirety of every middle-aged parent's view. It's also both ways. Rumor is non-African American men beat their wives, and it's sometimes true. But it's also valid for African American men. Like even everybody, like, you know, not saying everybody, but like, you know, chances are you're gonna run across like you're gonna hear a story about some domestic violence, right? Adults talked shit before social media, you know, like you know, social media did not create shit talking. or talking about other people. Like I said, my African American coworkers like, yo, you gotta watch out for Jamaican men. Like, no, I think she said her daughter is dating a Jamaican guy, and they're like preparing to attack him in case he attacks her. Like they're just making a battle plan for how they're gonna handle him being an abusive guy. And the daughter's like, yeah, no, he's not one of those guys, right? But it is that's just one of the things. It's like, people shit talk. It's just a trait of human beings. I don't know what this is. Oh, space race. Okay. Is this Russia? Oh. I don't know what that is supposed to be. But anyway, yeah. So anyway, so I decided let me troll. Because I was really trying to troll my my thing. So I'm just gonna. It's just more context though, because I'm just trying to make it sound noble when it's not. Well, basically, I did this poll, and this is a poll that we really have to consider too. It's like, what happens when you come into another country? So, like I said, like in America, there's this joke, right, where it's like the woman says, "Go sleep on the couch," right, and the dude, he's from Nigeria. Gas him up. He's from Nigeria, and he's like, if like there's no way his mother would tell his father, "Go sleep on the couch." Ain't no way. Because it's like he's like, it's my house. You understand? But in America, that's a thing. That's a concept. And it's I think actually there was another episode. I put up a clip on YouTube recently where he's like, if you go to the correct, like he once upon a time he was a corrections officer, and they were being told in training something along the lines of, when you go into a black person's house, right? No, when you go into somebody's house, you ask to speak to the man, and then you have your little conversation. But when you go into a black person's house, you ask to speak to the woman. And if you were to make the mistake of speaking to the man, she will put him in his place and say, "Look, he don't run shit here." You know what I'm saying? I do. It's a real serious culture shock. Especially if you come from, and I'm not going to say, patriarchal in a sense, but let's just pretend, let's say you come from a patriarchal background. Because one of the things that you're going to realize is that a lot of the continent does have what I will say is this. America had a feminist movement that was very successful. Okay, America had a civil rights movement that was very successful, So what that does is that America is kind of in a cultural space that many other cultures may not. Like, America is a lot more liberal than a lot of other cultures in some respects, So if perchance you do come from a conservative country, you are shocked, like for instance, in America, or I'll say it this way. I was looking at this, there was this Dance Africa thing. I didn't go, right? But there was this festival going on in Brooklyn, right? And during the festival, these they're just showing you the various outfits that black people were wearing at the festival. And sister in a nice outfit, brother in a nice outfit, sister, brother, sister. Then there's a dude in a dress. Then it's another sister in a nice outfit, brother inside. And it's like, that dude in the dress thing, that's not a thing in other, like most other countries, that's not a thing right now. That's a culture shock. And I'm telling you, see, like once you see that, and like dude in the dress is not like, oh my gosh, like once upon a time it was like even like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it'd have been like, the fuck are you doing, right? Like, you better not be on this street here. Today, it's more or less everywhere. I mean, it's not everywhere in America, but it's more or less everywhere. All right? It's just more liberal, if you will, quote unquote liberal. But let me write this. So I said, let's quote of the day, right? Let's be fair. You come into a country and the people that look like you don't have happy relationships, like where you came from. Now remember, you might not necessarily come from a place of happy relationships, but you know the vibe where you was at. Okay? You know the vibe where you were at. You know, and like, of course, another thing that people do with their parents is that, like I said, they romanticize their parents' relationships. They romanticize their own relationships. Okay? So they're, you like, no matter what, you're going to come from a space where you think you had it well, or you think your people know what's up, and then you're going to come to something different. So instead, they have sayings like black men ain't shit. So, like I said, my African-American coworker inspired this one, where essentially, she said that it was like a traditional thing. It goes back centuries. I don't think it goes back centuries. But, of course, later on, when I showed her I was trolling, she was like, no, it's not like that. You don't understand because you're not African-American. Anyway, but I was just trolling anyway. Black men ain't shit and women are gold diggers, and I'm that BG, right? So I said, what would you tell your kids? What would you tell your kids if you showed up somewhere, right? And it's kind of like I said, I was one time walking through Brooklyn, and I wanted I want my kid to hang out with other kids, right? And as I'm passing by these other kids who are kind of like just 2 blocks down or whatever, right? One kid's like, yo, I want to kill that other kid. And it's like, when you understand gang violence, one of the things is that a lot of it is violence by association. You know what I mean? It's not like random violence. I mean, sometimes there's random violence, but for the most part, it's violence by association. You know the person you're attacking. You understand? Like if you're killed, you know you're killer, more or less. The reality is this, that if it's violence by association, who in the world is going to want to associate? Like, who the one's going to want to associate? So I ask, give them a chance. We're all the same. Date our traditional. You're going to tell your kid, hey, look, date our people. Or you're going to tell your people, don't date them. You see, if you like I said, if you're in San Francisco, all the black youth walking around with purses and dresses, are you gonna tell your kid, all right, go out there and mingle? We're all the same. Give them a chance. Now some of y'all, y'all just wanna. It's because like I said, the victim mentality is because you want to seem nice to quote unquote African Americans because you feel like this is about African Americans. You're like, give them a chance, right? Now here's another example. This is the follow up where it goes. Well, all right, look here. Assuming you're not Rwanda, right? You're not from Rwanda. If you went to Rwanda during the Rwandan genocide, but in an ethno-national community fitting your ethnic group. So let's say you're an African-American, you go to, an African-American community in Rwanda. Or let's say you're a Jamaican, you go to a Jamaican community in Rwanda. Or let's say you Cameroonian, you go to a Cameroon community in Rwanda. They not effing with you, right? Genocide is Hutu, Tutsi. You ain't neither, okay? Now, full damn well there's a genocide outside. There's the Hutu fighting the Tutsi fighting the Hutu. Okay? Going on outside of your community. What do you tell your kids about Rwanda? If you know there's a genocide going on, do you say, hey, man, go give them a chance? Go hang out with those kids. Oh, we're all the same. Right? Are you going to say, wait, look, you in a safe, gated community, right? Do you say, look, man, just stay within the gated community? There's enough women here. There's enough stuff to do. Pretty much, don't mess with the Rwandans right now. And like the reality, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's like, you got to understand, you can't play with your children. You can't play with your future. When a child dies, when a child is killed, when you lose a child, that's decades of love and commitment and energy put into this child. Some of y'all cry over pets. Pets are not even near, I don't cry over pets, but pets are not even near, oh yeah, this pet joined me on a walk and this, and I fed this pet, and blah, 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 blah. And somebody just went and killed my pet. Oh no, oh tears, right? That's fine. I mean, that's reasonable. It's not really, but it's whatever, right? With a child, however, you are growing a human being to do something on this planet and someone takes their life. Or they end up unhappy because you didn't advise them well. You didn't guide them as you should have. You were the human being tasked with putting this child on the straight and narrow, and instead they are on the crooked and wide. Let me see what the comments are like, because I know I've been just ranting. Peace. Afrojam says, finish the story. I don't remember what story. Afrojam says, could be a Scotty. Leo says, peace, Oni. Peace, brother, says harsh reality. Oh, learning curves here. Greetings, fam. So yeah, peace, family. How y'all doing? But yeah, I mean, wait, what was the story though? But this is what I want you to understand. Now, some people were, like I said, some people were a little upset about this. We got, oh yeah, I think this was it right here. I think I said, seems about right. Oh, I was talking about the result. There's no one uniform response to a cultural shift. And when it comes to children and the future of your family and bloodline, advice has to be precise and strategic. I walked by some 7-year-olds discussing killing their peers. I didn't allow my son to befriend, But like, you realize that, your kids, unlike your pets don't carry your lineage. They don't really do anything per se. Your kid, like if you lose your pet, you really could just go and buy another one. It's not going to be the same, but it's you have another pet. You lose a child, you lose your grandchildren. If you lose a child too soon, you lose your grandchildren. You lose your whole lineage. Like your whole lineage, your whole genetic mark on the fabric that is, or the tapestry that is the human existence. You lose everything after investing so much, because children eat as much as you do. By the time they're 3, they're eating smaller portions than you. And by the time they're 6, they're eating the same as you. Okay? You're essentially, on an airplane, they cost the same as much as you. I mean, they are an expense, but for a greater good, for a greater future. And they can give you something no one else can, which is like your continuation, your continued existence on this planet. We're all descended from, all of us black people, we're all descended from these Africans from way back who protected and safeguarded their children long enough for them to protect and safeguard their own children. We have this long-standing legacy as these human creatures, spanning, some people will say millions of years, but as humans, at least 200,000 years. And to just lose that, or to make the wrong decision, and like I said, just associate, like I said, 7-year-old kids. My kid, he's not like a real bully. He doesn't know what bullying is. He doesn't necessarily understand that to that extent. But a kid could misinterpret his action, Like, for instance, like he likes hugging people, because that's what his parents do to him, right? He might hug the wrong girl. And then another 8-year-old walks over to him and says, hey, that's my girlfriend. My kid's like, yeah, it's my girlfriend, because he doesn't know what he's talking about. And the kid just shoots him in the freaking head. And that's it. Shoots him in the head. Because, that kid is more cognizant. That kid's more wise. The kid's more, socially attuned. But he's also socially attuned by, let's say, another, like some people who don't value human life. So his parents don't value him. Kid goes over and shoots the other kid in the head. And then, all I could say is, well, we're all the same. And I mean, it's obviously not a African American thing. It could happen anywhere. It could happen, like I said, my father's from Trenchtown in Jamaica. So if you guys know what Trenchtown is, it's one of the more dangerous areas in Jamaica, right? But so it could happen anywhere. But the reality is this, that when you're in Jamaica, people say, hey, don't associate with people from Trenchtown. You understand? Like, we know they're all the same. We know, like, I could tell you, yeah, my dad's a reasonable guy, right? I'm not going to tell you, yeah, man, I wouldn't associate with my own father because he's from Trenchtown. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But as a parent, you must make decisions on your children based off of what you know. And sometimes what you're going to know is not the inside picture, especially if you're coming from another area. And we don't extend that sort of, that reality, that perspectives can be limited based off of coming from somewhere else. Like I said, this African American sister, I think she was telling me that, I think she was saying something about how, because she's from Detroit, I think, right? And so she's like, Detroit is separated into different areas, like 8 Mile and 9th Street or 9th, something like that, 9th Avenue, I don't remember. But like basically there's different sections where you just wouldn't go to the other side. If you're in 10th Street or whatever, you're not going to 8th Street, period. And saying of her own daughter, she says her daughter doesn't walk anywhere. If she has to go anywhere, she takes like an Uber or a bus, but she does not walk anywhere. So for her, it makes sense to not associate with the African Americans on the other street, right? But again, if you're coming from another country, right, you don't have the luxury of knowing how it is. Like what are the rules of the land or the lay of the land? All you know is that there's trouble somewhere, and you can't make the distinction. Because if you're going to do the investigative research, you know what, 10th Street's actually pretty good, right? You're going to have to cross through 8th Street to get there. And again, it's and another thing too, again, like I said, it's a lot of the violence that you're going to find is not necessarily going to be random. It's not necessarily going to be arbitrary. It's probably going to be via association. It's via association and proximity. And at that, you would say, hey, look, maybe I shouldn't be Proximus or I shouldn't have proximity, and I shouldn't be associated. And that's just the logical thing to do because, we like to play games with our own kids. That's going to be a bad thing. But anyway, so, King T says, where they come from ain't much better either. Sometimes it's worse. And that's the thing, true. Sometimes it's worse. But again, it's like if you know the lay of the land, like the thing is this, that your kid is going to be pretty ignorant. And you're going to have to simplify it for them. And sometimes I don't even know if they even say don't go to the African Americans. They might just literally say something like don't go to 10th Street. And the kid is putting 2 and 2 together. Like, well, shit. What's wrong with, why is it that I could hang out with the Nigerian kids, but then I can't go to 10th Street? Is it because they're black? And it's like, no, I didn't say that. I said don't go to 10th Street. But then, dummy 12-year-old is like, well, shit, anyway, so I said, so, this guy, God can't stand another day on y'all dick, Of course, I have to sing dick riding song. Now, it's probably a good time to remind folks that, now, this guy's going to say, well, it's not all black Americans. Of course, I didn't say black Americans, but, it is what it is. I got to say this, though. N-word ain't shit, and I'm a gangster. It's not just Twitter talk. That'd be wild to say that. N-word ain't shit is passed down for decades at least, right? And calling black men, black women, calling each other the N-word, because that's a serious thing. I don't know if y'all know, but it's like I don't like it. I don't like being called an N-word, period. Just casually, or like my son has to now hang out with kids, and they're like, "Yo, come here, come here, N-word," and it's just like, why are you doing this to, why do we have to be, I could see somebody withdrawing from that, I wouldn't hold it against somebody to say, I don't really want to go around something or someone who is going to degrade me on a racial basis, just because they feel degraded themselves, I mean, it's like, yeah, if you feel degraded, that's fine, but why are you degrading me, and why do I have to just accept it? And I mean, and I get if you're around people, they have stronger force than you, then you might just need to accept it, But in fact, actually, I remember that actually happened to me just recently. I was walking through the park, minding my business, just minding my business, just walking through the park. Okay, literally just walking through, right? On my way to the kids section, right? I had my son with me. And then there's this black father with his black son. I guess he's teaching his son how to catch a football or something, right? And his son's a little guy, like maybe like 2 years older than my son, right? And so he throws the football, and then the son doesn't catch, and it kind of rolls like near my son and I. And so the little boy is about to go and retrieve the ball, but like he kind of slows down because he doesn't want to like walk into my son and myself, right? Reasonable, nice kid. And then his father says, don't worry about those little N-words, right? You catch the ball and blah, blah, blah. And he starts lecturing his son on so on and so forth. But it's like, why is he calling me? Like, his father was actually pretty big too. But like not big, like, you know, like I guess he was muscular. So maybe he thought I was, you know, whatever. But it's like, why are you calling me and my son little N-words, you know? And maybe he wasn't talking about me. Maybe he was talking about my son. But still, and it's like, part of me was like, should I be like, hey, don't call, you know, like, and start lecturing him in front of his son, and then there's a whole conflict from, you know, because now he has, like, you know, I just stand up because I'm a man, he's stand up because he's a man, and then now all of a sudden two black folk are going at it, or yelling at each other, or cursing each other, or, you know, just talking back to each other, just causing a conflict over nothing. Now, of course, I just walked away because it was not that serious. But like, yeah, it's like I could perfectly see that's not, like, I wouldn't tell my son to go hang out. It's like let's say if we were to form some sort of friendship, I wouldn't be like, yeah, go hang out at that guy's house where he's going to call you the N-word. You know? So there's that as well. But anyway, so just so we're clear, this is not a norm across. Yeah, everybody knows. I think the popular, but like you know, black folk always trying to defend themselves for some reason. But it's like, I think popular culture does reflect black Americans poorly. And if someone were entering the country, they'd most encounter popular representations, and they wouldn't be advised to investigate further unless they were Pan-Africanists, which most black people in general aren't, right? Popular culture is sporadically pervasive, not universal, but definitely popular, hence the name. And, you know, this guy says, right, your tweet makes it seem like it isn't a mere perversion. But, like, you know, I want people to understand that black folk, like, people, like, we want to make the excuse. We want to make an excuse for our own people and our own mishaps. But the reality is that, you know, you have to do some investigative research. You know, it's like if I go to Nigeria, right, and I'm in Igbo land or something, right? The reputation of the Fulani there is not gonna make me want to go up to the north, right? Because if I travel to the wrong neighborhood in the north, right? I don't know if you guys even know, but like, for instance, one time I was on Twitter, and I was just randomly saying something, and I said, yeah, I actually have this video of me talking about Islam, and this guy was like, oh, that's you? He's like, I should have blocked you from jump, right? Like, they are, like, these black Muslims are circulating even my discussion on Islam. You know? So now I'm walking around in the wrong part of Fulani town. Now I ain't got nothing against Fulani. But if I'm walking around the wrong part of Fulani, or my son is walking around the wrong part of Fulani town in Nigeria, right? They could be like, oh, ain't you Oni's son? Yeah, I'm Oni's son. He's a great So now I'll be the idiot to be like, yeah, you know, Fulani are good people. I no, not to say that Fulani, not to say that I wouldn't say Fulani are good people, but I'll be the idiot to be like, yeah, go and play in the Fulani in the north of Nigeria. Go and play in northern Nigeria. Oh, you the son of Oni? Go play in the northern Nigeria. You know, the same people who just, I think it was like 3 weeks ago, what they do? They stoned and burned a woman. Yeah. Anyway, you got to pay attention. We have to pay attention to what we're talking about. But let's see what's going on. Everybody's just saying sup to everybody. Real Black Gentlemen's here. So shout out to everybody and the crew. Make sure y'all get these watch hours open. These watch hours on. So if y'all gonna step out, you could just keep the video playing. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to. Like, you could keep the video playing and just go do what you got to do. Get these watch hours up so we could game the system like these white boys do. But anyway, that's pretty much it. I was kind of low-key trolling, but, it really just, like, it dawns on me, like, this whole sleep on the couch thing. It's like, when you're hit with a culture shock, you're going to, like you're going to have a reaction. When you're hit with news stories, like, remember when I was young, in America, if you watched the nightly news, it was just black violence, black violence, black violence, black violence. Like, if you're hit with that kind of stuff, yeah, you say, hey, look, wait. You got to be really circumspect. You got to be really careful. You got to watch out. Like, seriously. But anyway, let's see what this is. Lawsuit, privileged ass hats. Now, who the freak is this? What is this? But anyway, that was so the BAN was the other guy, but I also thought it was a more important conversation. I think I had another one about my parents, but I didn't put it over here, so we don't have to look for it. But basically, my mom was just like, "Don't." Oh yeah, this motherfucker. Oh, so check this out. So this is the Tulsa police have identified the shooter in yesterday's mass shooting at St. Francis at 45 years old, Michael Lewis. Now, unfortunately, you're gonna see a bunch of black folk talking about MK Ultra or some shit. They're like, y'all see how I almost scrolled down to something that was bad. I don't know why you black folk. I'm tired of you motherfuckers, man. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can't even tell if the screen went that low, but if y'all could see on the bottom of the screen, it says drag queen dances for children in Dallas, Texas. And then Jason Whitlock retweets it. Now this guy has 550,000 followers. And he retweets it, talking about this is satanic, dude. If it's so like, why? I almost showed that. I almost showed some. Anyway, all right. Hey, this is this. I don't like this. You motherfuckers like it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, he could be Adam Schiff. So they're showing his eyes, and I guess I don't know. Man looks crazy. So look, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but they MK Ultra the hell out of this man. Like everybody's just MK Ultra, MK Ultra, MK Ultra. It's like, yeah, sure. I'll give you a hint. It's the color of the shirt. I wonder why this story was memory hold. So this is the white people and the victim. Where it's like this guy kills. He actually kills 3 white guys and 1 black guy. 3 white people and 1 black person. But white people are like, why isn't this a news story? Why is it only a news story when we do it? Like, shut up, you fucking tools. But anyway, what was I saying about this guy? So basically, here's what happens, right? Here's the backstory. The backstory is that, literally the backstory, right? It's not funny because he just kills an experienced and doctor. But the backstory, I can't. Let me just open it up. You'll see what I'm talking about. Oh, okay, it's not here. Oh yeah, right here. So basically, this guy is an orthopedic spine surgeon. That's why I'm laughing. It's the backstory. Okay, get it now. All right. So anyway, Harvard Yale trained orthopedic spine surgeon was shot to death by a disgruntled patient in Tulsa. May your memory be a blessing for all. So he says, look, a letter recovered of the suspect, Michael Lewis, made it clear that he came with the intent to kill Dr. Phillips and anyone who got in his way. Franklin said he blamed Dr. Phillips for the ongoing pain following the surgery. So here's the thing. So I don't want to even think that it's criminal. I mean, it's negligent, medical negligence, right? So somebody's trying to rationalize this. Look, I went through a botched back surgery in 2019. Now, nobody's saying this is a botched back surgery. But I went through the botched back surgery in 2019. Couldn't stand or walk without unimaginable pain. The doctor lied and told me it was a fluid pocket. I found out 2 years later it was an infection that he neglected to treat. I don't condone any of this, but I understand that pain. They put in an impossible situation. I live right by St. Francis. I have failed lumbar, blah, blah, blah. What happens since forced tapering is awful. The callous attitude by medical pros now is very difficult to process. They act like we're the addicts, the problem. Yeah. So anyway, so basically, here's what it is. Doctor does some procedure, right? You go to the surgeon. You go to the spine surgeon. He's trained in what he can do. He does it. You feel like the process isn't right, so you kill him. And the reason why I put this in the BAN category, right, is because here's this man who has a valuable skill for, now it might be valuable to white folks, so you might say, who cares, right? But realistically speaking, here's an accomplished skillsman or craftsman or what have you, right? And a skilled talent doing surgery, and then you decide to assess that, hey, you know what? They didn't do the surgery as well as I did, as well as I wanted, right? And then you take that training, that I don't want to say genius because I don't know, but that sort of labor off of the market just for your own reason. And it's like, dude, couldn't you just have done a lawsuit? Couldn't you have just done a lawsuit? Now, you might say, well, a lawsuit could have, taken the guy off the market anyway. But it's like this is one of the reasons why we have, innocent until proven guilty or jury trials, among other things. And I mean, sure, you could say, hey, look, let's just take stuff into our own hands. But that's going to be, in reality, when we're talking about nation building, that's going to put a damper on the development and the longevity of a people. One disgruntled patient, if you will, right, to borrow the word over here. One disgruntled patient deciding who can and cannot practice medicine or practice surgery in a community, right? Based off of some misunderstanding, perhaps, right? Based off of no sort of community input outside of one disgruntled individual, right? That sort of a decision-making process is going to stunt a community. So we're going to put this individual into the BAN category because this is not what we can have when we're talking about African nationalism. Now, I'm not necessarily saying, hey, look, never kill a doctor, because it might be that you have a doctor who's literally doing all sorts of things just to, fuck over their own people. It seems very unlikely that this Preston Phillips would go to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Would go to Tulsa, Oklahoma to screw over his black patients. It seems very unlikely. And it seems more like, hey, this guy had some back pains after already having back pains and going to an orthopedic surgeon to fix it. Maybe he needed time to recover from this back pain situation. But yeah, he's, when you're selfish in this sort of way, where you feel like you are the center of the universe, when you feel like everyone owes you time, and energy, this is what it is. These are the individuals that are BANs, and they would cost us our civilization, especially moving forward. And you have to identify them, get rid of them, get rid of this thinking. I guess a good classic question is, hey, what do you do if what would you do if you have a surgery, if you go through surgery and it's still painful after, I don't know, a week? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how long this guy was allegedly suffering his pain, but it probably, I don't even call it being that long. Maybe it was long. I don't know. But again, it's like, clearly you had a problem before you went under the knife, Of course, this gentleman, and some people make a case of how he bought his gun the same day. Like he bought his gun just a few hours, his semi-automatic rifle a few hours before. Let's see when he had the surgery. Okay, so apparently it was like May 24th. Yeah, so wait, what? It was May. Oh gosh. So this guy, what? Oh man, that sucks. So what? Oh. Okay, so I was thinking maybe it was months, maybe it was years, because like you could probably have a case months and years, This dude had a surgery on May 24th. Okay? No, he had a surgery. No, he was released May 24th, and he killed the guy May 29th. 5 days later. Like, he was supposed to have a full... And it's like he had enough recovery to go into a build, like go and purchase a gun and like gun down 4 people. Damn. So like because I could see, like, you know, I have pain after, like, you know, a few months and you've been ignoring me, or I have pain after a few years and you've been ignoring me. I can't. I'm sorry. I know, but like, damn. Sorry, I think I saw a comment. Lero says every mass shooting is now a conspiracy or government distraction. I don't know if you're being sarcastic, but chronic pain can indeed affect your mental health. Seen it all the time working in psych, from depression, acts of violence, delirium. Not excusing his acts, but if the surgery was botched, it can make sense. That mugshot is a little funny in the light. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, but it was like, what do you expect after getting surgery? Like, the dude killed the doctor, right? And then killed, he killed 3 other people on the way to the doctor. And then he killed himself. And he had like a wife and everything. And this is like after 5 days. Like, yeah, you can have pain. And yeah, it could affect your mental health, I guess. But, and then like he was actually able to, I don't know if he ran through he ran to this guy, but like, yeah, nah, I'm sorry. That's like 5 days. Like 5 days, like what? Like you couldn't wait. Like you there's time to recover, you know? So it was just like he had surgery. It looks like maybe, so let's see. Yeah, so 10 days before he kills himself, he had back surgery. There's not really much of an excuse. Like, you have to have some sort of ability to say, you know what? Yeah, I'll be in pain for the first few days. You know, I just had my back opened up and my spine realigned or what have you. You know, I don't think this was a botched surgery. Lero says, we don't know how long he's been dealing with the pain, though. It's a very real phenomenon. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but we know the surgeon did it just 10 days before. You know, like, how are you going to blame the surgeon for, like, you could be dealing with a back pain forever. The surgeon does their operation, and then you have to recover from the operation. You know? Spinal and Offer Jam says spinal and joint injuries, worse surgery normally never recover fully will be a recovering problem. Yeah, possibly, but you got to give it some time to figure that out. You know, you can't just figure that out in 5 days. You know, that's the thing. You just can't figure out in 5 days. It's like, yeah, it's just like I can't even like it's like I would if I thought it was longer, like if it was like years or even months, I could understand. It's not even a week. You know? Like, it's not even a week. Lero says, not blaming the surgeon. I think Buddy may have had a psychotic break. I mean, sure. I mean, I don't know if anybody disagrees with that. But the point being that, you know, that's the kind of a Scotty mentality you can't have. Like, you can't have people just going through psychotic breaks and using that, you know, just gunning down your citizens for their emotional, you know, outbursts. Like you know, everybody, like there's a limit to what you can and can't do when you're emotionally charged. We can't make excuses for people. You know, like, for instance, I could be really angry at something. Doesn't mean I could just go and strangle somebody. And then people are going to be like, well, you know, he could have had a psychotic break. Like, yeah, maybe I had a psychotic break. But if I'm strangling people because of it, you know, like you can't then say, yeah, that's an excuse. Like, it's not an excuse. You know, you have to have some sort of self-control. Like, your emotions shouldn't reach that level. And if they do, there is something fundamentally wrong with you. You know, and you're not fit for community. You know, it's like I said, like you guys watch out. You guys watch Shoot the Breeze. his brother Gassam was telling the story about his father's friend, childhood friend, who was like, he's gonna sleep with his daughter. He's gonna sleep with his daughter. And it's like, he could be like, I had a psychotic break. My wife wasn't giving me attention. My daughter, like, okay, you could give that story. But like, no, you can't do that. There's just a limit. You could have some sort of emotional rationale, but you just a limit. And it actually reminds me of, so I was talking to my African American friend, and I was like, my new African American friend, and I was like, one movie I didn't get was East Bayou. I was like, why are they showing this father potentially messing with his daughter? And then she's like, no, in East Bayou, he's not messing with his daughter. His daughter just feels neglected, and at some point decides to kiss him, right? Decides she wants to, get his attention, be intimate with him because he's a ladies' man and all that kind of stuff. And then he slaps her, because he's like, no, no matter how neglected you feel, no matter how whatever you feel, right? You can't kiss your father. There's just things you can't do. You could there's just some sort of control. You could say, hey, look, you could be attracted to your father. That's weird, but you could be attracted to him. You can't act on it. You just can't act on it. And the father sets her, just slaps her, say, no, what the fuck is wrong with you? And that's what it is. We can't make excuses, be like, well, her father, he was a ladies' man. He really did like women. He was blah, blah. There were so many women that were mistreated. You could make all these excuses, but at the end of the day, you have to at some point say, put your foot down and say, look, these are the kind of actions we can't have. This is not the community we want to build. If you can't process that a surgery is, you're not going to recover immediately from a surgery, right? That's it. Afro Sam says they'll be recurring. Oh yeah, straight away. Wait, no, they'll be recurring. The guy was delusional and probably assumed that he would be pain free straight away. Exactly. That doesn't make any sense to be cut open and then be pain free straight away, like within a week. No, no, no. Your body has to be in pain from the painful process of cutting you open. Lero says the mentally ill don't know self-control, though. To prevent this, in Africa nationalism, resources will have to be allotted medical mental health with these things in mind. It don't make the act less foul. Mentally ill don't know self-control, though. Yeah, this is I wouldn't want to speak for quote unquote mentally ill people. I don't know to what extent, but again, there's a degree to what constitutes, what constitutes, what is mental illness and what is self-control. This man goes through a painful process of getting his back cut open. Okay, if somebody were to, hit somebody else, if you were to, let's say you're playing baseball and then a baseball comes full speed and hits you in the head, right? You're going to feel that pain up to a week later. You're not going to fully recover from a baseball hitting you full speed in the head, right? You're going to show signs of injury even a week later. The idea that somebody cutting your back open, right, would be painless or show no signs of injury a week later is not, I wouldn't even put it in the category of mental illness. This is clearly somebody who's just unfit. Lero says that was a very vague statement. The character limit, but in other words, the mentally ill can't prevent symptoms of their mental illness. Yeah, I don't even know if this guy is mentally ill per se. It seems like I don't know if he's mentally ill. I can't definitively say this man is mentally ill. I don't think there's any indication that he's mentally ill, or that he can't process certain things. There's no indication of this. Yeah, you could say he's mentally distressed. But again, if this is how you process your distress, then you're just not fit for a community. And I think that's the thing. I mean, we can project this mental illness to people. I guess that's what, the white Americans are doing to each of their killers, each of their gunmen. But like, it's, I don't know. How do we know the guy's mentally ill? Like the only thing that might come to mind is this bad picture of him. But that picture could be pretty old considering that he was killed on sight. Consider that he committed suicide. It could be an older picture, like it doesn't mean that he's like, I don't know that he's really mentally ill. Like it seems like he might have been in pain from back surgery. But that's pretty much all we know about this guy. That he was probably in pain and like he just had no sort of sense to process that, maybe let me wait for this surgery and I'm not the guy's only, his only patient. Anyway, so we're gonna go to the next one, which is the ABA. Yeah, all right. So this is so Ches Charday. She's a pretty cool sister on social media. She's batting up against the FBA and them. So I'm like, look, I'm sorry, but I would close the gates behind me. I'm sorry. When I go to Africa, man, I might just close the gates behind you. I know some of y'all want to come, but like, shit. All right. So anyway, this is some crossover between the divestors and some ADOS FBA. They view lineage advocacy as ethnic divesting. So look at this right here. ADOS women are not the same as African and Caribbean women. Again, we are not the same. We were bred differently. Think of it like dogs. A beagle acts nothing like a pit bull because they were bred differently, although they still belong to the wolf family. It's the same scenario. You're like, okay. I mean, that's okay. That's fine. I mean, it's not the worst thing you ever could read. And then, LOL, black men are not my men. I am ADOS. Okay, what's going on? I was technically bred to be with the white man and serve him, technically. It's not my job to educate you tethers on our heritage. Black skin is amazing and a very respectable man that I respect. He is very knowledgeable regarding this. He will even tell you that black women were never for black men regarding ADOS. Yeah, sorry guys. Closing the gates. I'm saying? They're like, Africa's gonna be debating. Should we let the diaspora, or should we let the I guess they're gonna consider me African American, right? Like, should we let the African Americans in? And I'm like, yes, let the African American in. Wait, they need to go. It's our land too. Blah blah blah. Then when I get in, it's like, close the motherfucking gates. Like, who the fuck? They bred the white folk. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, But seriously, yeah, no. Just a big no. This is yeah. I'm sorry. Like, this is like, nah. Like, nah. Nah. Like, you can't even say nothing to that. Think of it like dogs bred to be with white men. We sick, boss. Like, shit. This is David. He's a cool socialist. But anyway, yeah, no. Like, no. We might just have to go from there though, because I'm speechless from that. I forgot about that one, and now I'm speechless. Let me see what the comments are like, because no. Let's see. Kofi says, let me see. Lero says, not fit for the community, then where does the community put them, whether mentally ill or not? Well, again, like, if you are, so Lero's asking about community and where do you put people? Again, you don't want a Scotty in your community. Like, that's just the gist of it. You do not want a Scary in your community, because the reality is this. One of the reasons why you form a community is there's two things. Protect it. The two most important things is to protect and heal. Okay? The two most important things is to protect and heal. Okay? So what protecting and healing means is that you form a community for your group protection and your group health. Okay? If somebody is now what protecting your group health and your group protecting your group health, I guess, what it constitutes is actually removing the elements against your group's protection and your group's health. Okay? So somebody attacking one of the healers in your community, right, is a big no. You don't like that's like, you get the fuck out. That's like, yeah, there's no place for somebody attacking the healers. Now if the healer botches something, that's a difference too. You could be like, there's no space for a bad healer. But that's for the community to decide. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know if this person is mentally ill, but it doesn't even matter. You're forming social groups not to save everybody. You're forming social groups not for a Scotty and them. You're forming social groups because you understand that many hands make light work. Because you understand that living together can ensure a longer and better health and safety. You're not just living in a community to just live in a community. Hey, my neighbor's black and I like that. That's fine. But you have to, or we have to, say to ourselves, hey, look, our community is so that we can prosper. And the reality is this, that if you say to yourself, hey, it's perfectly fine if this guy is doing unwell for him to go and kill a doctor, right? Or it's perfectly fine if I'm waiting for a package from the delivery service and then they arrive, 5 minutes late, so I gunned them down. It's perfectly fine. They arrived 5 minutes late, right? The reality is this, that kind of a community is going to self-destruct. If you're not going to protect your doctors, if you're not going to protect your delivery people, if you're not going to protect your truck drivers, if you're not going to protect, then you're not going to have any truck drivers. You're not going to have any delivery people. You're not going to have any doctors. And so you have to put the community or the community's longevity even above each individual. Now, we don't know if this person is mentally ill, but let's assume that he's so mentally ill and he's so and he can't be helped, then you have to do one of two things. Well, you have to be merciful. You have to have mercy, or you have to be merciful or merciless. I'm reminded of, I think they were talking about it on Shoot the Breeze, matter of fact. I guess I listened to a lot of Shoot the Breeze, where they were talking about China and Mao, and how Mao had to kill or China, it might have been China before Mao, but they had to kill the opiate addicts. They had to kill the opium addicts. And the ones that they killed were the ones who were too far gone. Because, you could say, hey, man, that's terrible to take somebody's life because they're addicted to opium and so on and so forth. And it's true. It doesn't sound too great. But what if somebody is too far gone? What if you cannot maintain them? What are you going to say? You have to limit them in some capacity. You can't say, hey, look, man, this person's on opium. That's their excuse. So if they're breaking into your house and robbing you, it's fine because we got to keep everybody alive. No, because the reality is this: if an opium addict breaks into my house and attacks my daughter or something, right? And I can't do shit because, why would I, it's an opium addict. I have to respect, there's a mental illness there, right? They break into my house, attack my daughter. Of course my daughter's already like, fuck you, I'm not staying here, right? But also, oh, fuck you, you're not my dad anymore. I don't have a daughter, but still, right? But, the reality is that I'm not, and like that happens one time, okay, fine. That happened one time. Hopefully the state's going to do something about it. But if the state don't do nothing about it, you say, look, and you got another 5 break-ins in a week by these opiate addicts who are just coming to your house and stealing shit, right? You say, yeah, I'm not running a business. I'm not leaving my life in the hands of people who think this way. That the safety of their people, of their upstanding, their upstanding and rational people means nothing. And I mean, you can't, it's not about blaming the person who's on opium, because, opium is, not even opium, but, whatever it is that they could be on, cocaine's one hell of a drug, right? Whatever they could be, you could say, hey, you know what? That's not their fault. That's just, the drug that they took. Whatever, right? Like that's its impact on humans. And it's like, yeah, you do want people to set them aside and help them and fix them and all that kind of stuff. But like realistically, at least in the traditional sense, you would tell them, go and form your own village. We can't handle you in our village. And just the same, go into another nation. We can't handle you in our nation. Or they might, lock them up. I don't know. Or like you say, put them in a mental asylum, make them live their lives in a mental asylum. But the reality is that no, you cannot put your people's safety down just because you feel like this person had no other choice. You can't, because realistically, the rest of us are in this community to have good and happy lives. And we might not, and the other person may have fallen as some sort of victim to something. That's fine. I mean, that's terrible. That's not something good. But like, notwithstanding that doesn't mean that rest of us should suffer. Like you could try to help this other person, but then there's a reality that, hey, look, you have to discipline people. You have to set some sort of standard, set some sort of rule, and you have to set some sort of protection, or your people, you're going to destroy your own selves with just kind of a liberal, view of human beings in a sense. No insult meant. All right, let's see. Not fit for the community. Where does that put the community? Where does the community put them? Yeah, whether mentally ill or not. So could be another Colin Ferguson situation. Who's Colin Ferguson again? I don't remember. Bittermaster said, meant to discuss this last night. So Lero says, let ADOS and them divest. Good riddance. Not arguing with them for no more. It's great that they want no dealing with Africa. Yeah, I wish they didn't want no dealing with Africa. They always in your mentions. Who are you? You're like, hey man, Africa's a beautiful place. Well, it's so beautiful. Why? You're like, what? Like I tell you, man. I don't know who between the Black Americans and the white Americans got a bigger victim complex, but the white Americans are like, like all the time. It's just so weird. You're like, hey man, America's an imperialist nation. Why are you gonna call it imperialist? You're like, shut up. Like everybody knows this thing. All right. Afro says, black skin is amazing. Is a YouTube troll who is obsessed with multiracial females. He is always up in mixed race community pages and channels. Who is that? I don't even know who that is. Wait, this is Mrs. Smith. Who is black skin is amazing? That's a cool name. Or is like they're a totally different image being played. Black skin is amazing. He's always a mixed race. The Black Skin Amazing channel is a clown who promotes miscegenation. Okay, that's a word, Leto says. Kofi says, black skin is amazing is non-BA. I think Somali. Non-black African. I think it means non-black African. Or maybe non-black American. I don't know. KW Don 7 says, black is amazing. Claims to be FBA ADOS. He has an anti-African worldview. I'm just trying to figure out, how do we start talking about black skin is amazing? I don't remember that. I don't remember. Wait, was that comment up? All right, whatever. Let's just go on. I think that might have been the whole thing, though. But it's like, yeah, just close the gates. I don't give a fuck. All right, so anyway. Oh, and the other ones are this is the Africa they don't show you type. There's another ABA. And, like, this is just embarrassing. I mean, this is just embarrassing. And the reason why this is embarrassing, by the way, is because these are like this is just embarrassing. Okay, so this is not America or Europe. This is Port Alfred in South Africa. And then somebody's like, look, and can you believe it's the same country, white versus black? So much for a liberated country. So this is how the white folk are living. And a black person showing it off. He can't even go, like he can't even walk here. And I mean, I'm not saying that the architecture don't, it's an interesting looking architecture, right? This is how they got black folk living. And having black folk living like this while bragging about this, and you in the country and you know damn well what's going on, you another one of them enemies within. Because here's the thing. This person right here gets in charge, right? They get a political position. This white boy shows them, hey, we could put this in Africa. We could get Africa looking like this. We can blah, blah, blah. And they're like, what? You could get Africa looking like this? Sure can. Sure can. Right? And then they would sell the land to this white boy. And the white boy would say, now that Africa looks like this, we're going to move in our own people. Stupid. You don't see Africa. You don't see Europe being sold to Africans. You understand? The European understands. No, I'm not going to sell my country to a foreign people. I don't give a shit what their buildings look like. They ain't going to build no fucking pyramids over here. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna build nothing. It could be the most marvelous, 10th wonder of the world. They don't give a shit. And I mean, but we, on the other hand, we have this whole mindset that we have to like essentially that white is right. And even when these white folk are clearly, this is the township or whatever. No, not the township. This is the, whatever it's called, right? Even when the white folk are going to discriminate, spit on you, treat you like shit, you're boasting and bragging about what they do. To feel good about yourself. And that's embarrassing. Because now anybody can it's like, a bit of medicine was talking about this yesterday. There's this video called How to Sell to the Negro. So America was like, yo, I want to teach y'all, I want to spit some game to y'all. Basically, black folk now got money in their pockets. Because black folk got money. This is white people talking. So I probably put in my little white voice, I guess, Nah, I can't even do it. But anyway, but he's like, white folk got money, black folk got money now. And because black folk got money, you got to know how to get it from them. And what you got to do is you got to go to them and be like, man, you can't afford this shit. And then the black man's going to be like, well, yes, I can. I work 2 jobs. You know? You know what I mean? You go to white man, you go to black man, you can't afford this shit, man. You see this, man? You see this Tommy Hilfiger, man? It's not like your Walmart shit. This is some real, it's the same cotton, but it's Tommy Hilfiger. You know who Tommy Hilfiger is? Now, see, all the black folk, well, all the African Americans know who I'm talking about. You got this. You see, you don't got this North Face jacket. You got this North Face jacket like 50 Cent had it. So you see 50 Cent, maybe he could do it. Maybe he could afford it. But your broke ass can't afford a North Face jacket. Almost, when I was in high school, almost every one of us had a North Face jacket, myself included. You understand? Actually, I don't know if I had it actually, but I'm pretty sure I did. I think I did. But almost all of us had this North Face jacket. Okay? Why? Because or Ralph Lauren shirt. My cousins, they immigrants, sure. But my cousins was like, give me the Donna Karen New York bag. I remember when she told me that, I was confused as the motherfucker because it was like DKNY, right? This is stuff that Biggie was rapping about. Not just Biggie, but like a lot of these commercial artists were rapping about, DKNY and North Face and all that kind of stuff. But point being that that's how you sell to these black folk. You could have the same product. The same exact product. A regular winter coat. Slap on a North Face and say you can't afford this shit because you're broke. They say, look, I'm not that broken. I remember I was dating this woman, African American woman, says from Texas, right? Nice body. Anyway, but anyway, dating this woman talking about, oh, my son's, her baby father had to, he never sent my son's shoes over, and they've been calling about his shoes. Boy got maybe 18 pairs of shoes worth over $1,000. Why this boy with 2 feet got 18 pairs of shoes? Why this boy with 2 feet got 18 pairs of shoes worth over $1,000? I'll tell you all about this lady. This lady had such bad money management skills. Working 2 jobs. Terrible money management skills. Right? To the point where she ended up in a homeless shelter. She had a nice piece of furniture she bought on, I guess it's called layaway, I don't know. But she bought this, thousands of dollars worth of furniture she didn't even use. She had to pay the furniture store every month or something, right? Ended up homeless. Kept asking me for money, real talk. Like I said, she had a nice body, and I had money. I mean, she kept asking. I didn't say I gave it, but anyway. But but yeah, she ended up in a shelter because at first you're like, yeah, maybe she's asking money because she's just one of them women. No, she ended up in a shelter. But she had nice name brand stuff. She had nice looking furniture. She had an expensive ass bed. She had everything but some damn financial sense. Her and both her kids went to the shelter. By that time, I was already done. I was already like, she already done some silly stuff, and I was like, you know what? Nah, I can't. But yeah, that's the reality is, how to sell to this low self-esteem that we have, right, is going to have us buying things we don't need. And I'm not saying this don't look nice. This looks nice, but you should have built it your damn self. You understand? And you should live in it your damn self. That's what it's supposed to be. All right. So anyway, we up to the first freaking. So I made like 2 transitions while I was listening to a bit of medicine yesterday. So y'all gonna see the first one. I actually prefer the second one, the past me's, but I'm gonna show you guys the mangina first because that's the order that we go in. Let me see what the conversation is though. So Kofi says Colin was the New York train shooter in the 90s and defended himself in court. He was the New York, I still don't know what that means. Afrojam says the second part of the first ABA tweet was referencing black skin is amazing. Oh, damn, that's pathetic. The tweet you were reading referred to the black skin is amazing. He is okay with farming out black females to white males. Shit. It looks, Afrojam says it looks unsustainable. Yeah. I mean, it's just like you could always just leave your house and do something more important. But anyway, so let's go to the first transition. Check this out. I started doing some video editing. Cause the Pass Me one, there was a video of this Pass Me and I was like, damn, that's a good video. So I was like, let me do like a little clip between. But when it came to but then I was like, let me think of a mangina video. Cause I know how some people gonna be like, you're a sexist. So I was like, let me just balance it out. But anyway, this is the mangina video. Check this out. Fucking manginas, right? All right, anyway, so we're gonna go to the next one. Y'all think about that? It's so cool, right? All right, we're illiterate. So let's see. This is the first mangina of the week, and there was actually a lot of manginas this week. Egos, we're illiterate. And like obviously, I don't really like violence against women, but I know there are manginas who do. So let's not forget that that's a thing. And y'all saw like there was another dude in the background. I don't know if y'all peeped it, but he just ran off right away. Anyway. So this person says, oh yeah, this fucking idiot, Agent Scully. But anyway, Nduka says, anyway, I need us Nigerians to stop being so excited when white people know regular stuff like cook egusi soup or speak pidgin. Stand up, right? That's just what he says. No, that lady who says stand up. Anyway, Agent Scully says, we are not a culture that writes books. Whites are a culture that do. That's why they're the ones documenting all our histories. That's why they also are far better developed society than we are. This is a mangina. Actually, I don't even know if this might be a white person because look at his profile. Average IQ in Africa is 80. Always remember this, and Twitter comment won't bother you. Yeah. So we are not a culture that writes books. What happened to Chinwande, so on and so forth. How many recognized writers do we have? So this is something else. How many writers do we have? There's no place where there aren't Niger writers. So yeah, so this might actually be a white person, honestly. At this point, I can't even tell. But yeah, this is the kind of self-hatred that, you know, and this is the kind of quote unquote men that you just, like, as women, like I said, you just got to stay away. You just have to stay away because there's just a reality. There's a reality of self-hatred, of looking at African people in a negative way, and what that means for us, you know. But like I said, I don't even know if this is a black person at this point, so I'm just gonna go to the next one. I'm also kind of low key excited for that for the other commercial, you know, or the other transition. So let's see. So much trouble crying for his life. Oh, so much trouble crying for his life. Oh yeah, this is like another mangina. And this is like everybody, like, y'all might not know who this person is. Like, I don't necessarily think I know who this person is. I think I do, but yeah, this is big, right? So this is Designer. So Designer gets swarmed by several cops at gas stations after window and tag violation. Actually, now that I think about it, I do know who Designer is. So Designer had this song called Panda, okay? Panda is this rap song where, like, nothing he says makes any sense, right? I think it's like, oh, I got problem with the letter, something like that. With the panda, whatever, right? But he's not, like, he's so inarticulate, and it's like people like it, but it's like when you first hear it, you're just like, why is this music, right? So anyway, Panda gets swarmed by cops, and this is what he does.
You don't know who you fucking with. Hey, yo, you know who I am, right? Designer. You don't know who you fucking with. You don't know who you fucking with. Hey, yo, you know who I am, right? Designer. Panda. Yeah, let the world know. I'm over 20 million around the world, bro. This shit is big, bro. You fucking with the wrong one. I'm letting you know. This is bigger than fucking Freddie Gibbs, all them niggas. I'm letting you know. This shit gonna get everywhere, and I got money, I got loot. I got a whole lot of loot. I got millions and millions of dollars. I will blow this shit. Please, leave me alone, back up. I do not feel comfortable with you. Can you come, sir? Can somebody else come comply with me? I do not feel comfortable with him. Can you please back up? You threatened me multiple times. Sir, I do not want to talk to you. You have a blessed day. You have a fucking blessed day. You have a fucking blessed day. Back up, please. All we gotta do is have a conversation. Please, keep your hand up your gun. Keep your hand up your gun. Keep your hand up your gun. Keep your hands off your guns. Keep your hands off your fucking guns. You don't know who you fucking with.
That's like, it's a sad video, you know? It's sad because this is supposedly a man, you know? And I'm not saying that, like, again, like, this is a situation this is why it's depressing, you know? Rich man, right? Says, look, hopefully my wealth is going to protect me. Hopefully my pleading, my crying, something's going to protect me. Now, he didn't get killed. But, like, the fear, the cowardice, you know? He's suddenly articulate. You know, usually this guy, you know, you're a black person, you interview this guy, and he's all, you don't get it, right? Now, please, sir, I don't feel comfortable. You know, like, and it's just sad because, you know, you can't make humor of it. This is the situation you find yourself in when you're surrounded by a hostile force in the shape of your government. And all you could do is plead for your life. Make empty threats to a group of people who don't give a shit. You know? It's a sign of things to come. Or a potential for things to come. All right? Where you're going to find out that someone else has their finger on the trigger for your life, for your destiny. And they don't like you. And all you could do is beg and try to say, look, I'm different. But you aren't. I don't feel comfortable. You don't know who I am. I have loot. Somebody save me. Please. 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 That's where we're going. Man references Panda and almost 10 years on 10-year-old song. Oh, it was in he was only missing the British accent. Wait, Panda was 10 years old 10 years ago? Was it? I thought that was he referenced Panda too. Wait, are you talking about me or him? Because he said Panda too. I mean, like, was it really 10 years ago? I thought it was pretty recent. I stopped listening to rap a long time ago, like after the 90s. After the Southerners came in, I was like, yep, nope. You know, after that crunk, you know, I was like, nah, it was better in New York. Brooklyn. No, okay, I'm stop. Anyway, you know, one time I had this. All right, let me see what this is. So this is another one, XXL something. Let's see what happened here. So yeah, designers, you know, upset about being stopped by the police and scared, frightened. You know, people laughed at Young Thug. Oh yeah, this was another one. So basically, what's gonna happen is that Young Thug. So this is another one of those rappers. I think this is the one that got locked up recently for racketeering or something. So, and apparently the judge is black. So I think that's one of the things. But so people laughed at Young Thug asking to use the restroom during his bond hearing, and the judge told him to stop. Now, what's interesting is that people are gonna make this excuse and be like, "What was so funny?" But like, I could see the humor in it. I don't know if I would laugh per se, but I can see the humor in it. But I mean, this is it though. Like this is how they're gonna treat you, right? And I don't say like they're absolutely certainly going to treat you as an individual, because they might not reach you in time. You know, you might die before they reach you, sure, right? Or you might live a full life before they reach you. But this is their country, and this is how they treat you. And then, of course, this is not the worst thing in the world. This is not even a terrible thing. It's more so that black folk are. Why are they laughing? Right, but anyway. It's more so the fact that these are these individuals who, you know, care nothing for anything. Or who are like, yeah, I could damage the race. Who gives a shit? What are you going to do about it? Right? And then these white folk come around and it's, you know, yes, sir, no, sir. Please, sir.
Excuse me, Your Honor. May I use the restroom, or I need to be here? I've been holding it for a long time.
It's not funny. Y'all be at ease. Yes, sir. In fact, I'll just take 5 minutes and you can go ahead and everybody can. You can come back, okay? All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, never mind. I thought he said, do I need to use it here? But I guess he says, do I need to be here? So I guess I can see why it's not funny. But I think the first time I heard it, I thought he said, do I need to use it here? Maybe that's what people might have misheard. But they allegedly it's only like white folk laughing. I mean, like, I don't know if I would laugh. I don't think I would laugh. But that's it. It's like, hey, look, at the end of the day, who's the authority? Oh, by the way, this is the judge. But it's like, who's the authority? And if you're comfortable with, you know, a hostile entity being the authority, that's fine. You know, just understand that has its own consequences. You know, that has that situation where you have, I think designer was stopped because his car was tinted, right? And then he's swarmed by gunmen who had like paused a little bit. You know, like, hey, should we shoot this guy? Looks like a black man. Should we shoot him? He's moving a little too much. Should we shoot him? He's saying something. He's saying he's famous, but should we shoot him? And that's the law enforcement enforcing a law against tinted windows. Just saying. Just saying. So that's a manginas. These are manginas. Won't someone think about the Ukrainians? So here's my thing. Why did nobody back me up here? Why nobody back me up here? That's what I'm trying to figure out. So this was a whole conversation I had. Oh yeah. So this guy, did I mute this guy? I don't remember muting him. Oh no, I didn't mute this guy. Who did I mute? No. Basically, some white boy responded to me. And it says, I have come to the conclusion that the war in Ukraine No. Some black guy says, I have come to the conclusion that this war in Ukraine may be the most morally obscene war the U.S. has ever engaged in. Even wars like Vietnam, U.S. rulers sacrificed U.S. soldiers. But the wholesale sacrifice of Ukraine and its people for U.S. geostrategic goals is hard to watch. And so I say, nobody. Actually, I guess some people liked it, right? But I say, I say personally, I love it. I never cared about a Ukrainian. After their serenation, I won't have to. White on white violence is my top 2 favorite kinds of violence. You know what I'm saying? Like, period, right? Anyway, so some white boy does not like this, okay? I think let me see. So Twitter support seems pretty obvious. This goes against the second point of your summary things that weren't allowed on Twitter. But hey, you deemed this an acceptable tweet. Consistently inconsistent. So this is why people did not like this. Where's the other one? What an absolute joke. After reviewing, so they tried to report me. We want to let you know that hasn't broken our safety policies. If it isn't the answer you're looking for, you can block the account. So these white boys, so basically one of these white boys, right, took so much offense that he threatened me. Okay? And so because he decided to threaten me, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to report him. And so he actually got his ass blocked. So that's why you didn't see him in the comments. So we're gonna actually scroll through and we're gonna see how you gotta handle these crackers, because you gotta actually know the law. You know, you gotta know the law. So we're gonna go through. Make sure y'all, if y'all not following me already, make sure you guys go ahead and do that. This is some white boy getting beat up by some white woman. That's kind of white girl beating up some white boy. And like when I say girl and boy, I literally mean girl and boy. But yeah, so anyway, so check this out. Oh, so I guess he didn't get fully blocked. Oh yeah, the tweet violated Twitter rules, so this got deleted too. So I knew he was gonna delete his shit, so I decided I'm gonna retweet it with the screenshot. So I say, personally, I love it. And he's like, this must be the effect of drinking mud water growing up, right? And I think somebody responds to this. Let me see. Oh yes, Europeans drink bombshells. Oh, so I said, better than bombshells, you Nazi, right? You talking about I drank mud water. I'm like, better than drinking bombshells, you stupid fucking Ukrainian. Anyway, so he goes, oh, you think Europeans drink bombshells? To be honest, I wouldn't expect you to know a single thing about civilization, so I understand your confusion. So I'm just going to go back and forth with this cracker. No. So basically, here it is. So after he did that other comment to me, I saw that he did this other stuff where it says, you should just change to black on black violence in Africa, and then you are probably a racist, right? He says, problem is, so you see how white people have this victim mentality where it's like, if we were to say the same thing as you black men, then we would be, so on and so forth. And it's like, no, first off, I know what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So I said, look, but this is important because, you let white folk tell on themselves, because this is technically a white liberal, okay? He said, you should just charge, both of them are technically white liberals, and they're going to just turn on black folk. But watch, you should just change to black on black violence in Africa, but then you are probably a racist. And the other guy says, problem is black on black violence is terrible in my opinion, and wish that ended as well. But for people like him who support genocide against Ukrainians, I don't care what color skin they've got, they should be killed. So that's the comment I reported, because it's like, that's a threat of violence. You know what I mean? If you guys are going to be threatening me, if you guys are going to start reporting me, then sure enough, I'm going to report you. You understand? He's like, also, I reported him for a racist tweet. So that's why I reported this guy, right? So I know, but he's the one that started with a racist tweet. Agreed. Now check this out. Fortunately, 99.99999% of black people don't think the way, though. Some nutcases like this guy do, I guess, though. And he's like, where I live, I'm a white minority. And so this white boy, like I said, I don't know who between white Americans and black Americans, this might not be an American, honestly, but who has the bigger victim complex? Because look at this shit. Where I live, I am in a white minority, and my son gets bullied with racism because he was the only white in his class and had to change school because the school could not stop it. Anyway, so I say, look, host of the Azov battalion calls for blacks who exercise free speech to be killed. White power is the MO of the liberal. I want y'all to understand that. White power is the modus operandi, of the liberal. He likes that 99.9% of black people are controlled, and he believes the 0.1% should be culled. You read it here first. I want y'all to understand that, okay? That these white folk know that you're in their control. Okay? They know that you're in their control. They say, hey, look, we these N-words, most of them, we got. You know? So I said, look, so he's like, oh, you drink European, blah, blah, blah. And I said, look, when the Russians wipe your Azov civilization off the planet, I won't expect you to either. Difference is you never did. Get lost. Don't you have a war to lose? You know what I mean? Because some of you, I mean, I don't know if nobody really asked. But, you know, when that Russian guy comes through, I'll be like, yeah, man, good luck at your war. You know? Because I don't give a fuck about these Ukrainians. I don't. You know what I mean? And like I said, white on white violence. That's what I, like, you know, top two. You know what I'm saying? It's top two. But let me see what the comments are like. That was just me on thing. He does it like it means something. Yeah. Pandas, I mean, the designers all, yeah, I wrote Panda. So, you know, you can't do anything to me. I'm above the law. Like, no, stupid. You just wrote a song that kids like, you know? like you wrote a children's song. Like, that doesn't put you above the law, stupid. Learning curves here. She says America was built on and is expanded by white on white violence. Yeah, white on white violence, white on black violence, white on native violence. Or you could say that's white on white violence too. But the point is that, yeah, it's that they're a violent society. Liberals and progressives have always been the enemy. Always. You know, the fox and the wolf. It's the Mutt and Jeff. It's the good cop, bad cop. They're both cops, you know? All right, so if the UN is to be believed, so we got some more manginas. They're in Haiti. But this is if the UN is to be believed. And this is like a serious story. I want y'all to understand, like we have to be serious about, like, we can't just go to this mental illness thing. You know? That's the easy way out. There were 200 kidnappings in Haiti in May. In May, 1 month, 200 people are removed from their families. Okay, 200 people are removed from their families last month. Do you know how devastating it is to lose a loved one, whether it's a child or just your parent, something, to lose a loved one? Okay, this is security we're talking about. Now, that's not to say that there's no mental illness going on in Haiti. Not to say that, hey, you know, there was an earthquake, there's poverty, there's this. You cannot have a functioning society, especially not if you're excusing this sort of violence. If you're saying, hey, well, somebody should be reaching out to doing some mental health outreach. The socioeconomic conditions are not there. People are selling people. We talk about, oh, you know, Africa owes our reparations because, you know, they sold us. No, stupid. The economy is destroyed. People are selling people right now. People in America were selling people from the north back south. You an escaped slave? Okay. Well, you know, I was an escaped slave too. Yeah. You know, let me show you my friend. Constable, he could help. Oh, you're escaped? You're Jebediah from? Yeah. You on this wanted poster? Yup. People are kidnapping people for whatever reason. Organs. Who knows? And like I said, you have family that you love, you want to take care of, and then they're gone. All for some act of violence. All because of something that really has nothing to do with you. Oh, you have some mental illness? That's fine. Deal with that shit. Don't take it out on me. I have nothing to do with you. I'm not the cause of that. If you cannot rationalize, then no, we don't. You have to excise these people. And I mean, the socioeconomic conditions, this is something that I want you to understand, that I would say, yes, we have to ramp up our socioeconomics. We have to. I'm reading this economics book. You guys know I'm reading Wealth of Nations. It's taking me forever. I'm reading this economics book, and I'm seeing a lot of stuff that I'm saying to myself, you know, a lot of us do not discourse enough on this stuff. About just how to develop wealth as a nation. What are the things we need to do to become successful in this world, realistically? You know? we have a lot of literature, but not quite enough, not quite in depth. And why is it that this white boy could go in depth 200 years ago, or 300 years ago, and yet now we're passing around what is considered classic literature. We're passing around classic literature that doesn't really touch on how to really fix our situation. Or doesn't even address it. It's like, yeah, okay. Well, let me tell you guys, the white man, he hung us. Or, this black man, he could do, he started a business, over here. But it's not really the depth we need. And I mean, of course, my next book should do that for you guys. My next book should do that for you guys. My last book was pretty good too, I'm not gonna knock my own books, obviously, right? But it's like I'm in study mode right now. I'm in study mode, and I mean, obviously I'm gonna take everything these white boys say with a grain of salt, but I want us to understand that this situation happening where 200 people are losing their loved ones, and like what that can have. And this is just in a month. Okay? See this child over here? Think of this child. Think of this this young lady, right? Think of her. Okay? Taken, stolen, sliced open, organs removed, sold to whomever. This kid who knew her feels unsafe forever, grows up and says, you know what? I'm going to take a child that looks like this. Gut them. Because why not? I lost my sister. So much damage happening because of this. Because of the men not standing up. These are the manginas. And a lot of this really stems back to the lack of literacy on our part, right? I'm not trying not to sound like that agent, right? The lack of literacy on our part, and also the manner that we read in. Like I said, I like this book I'm reading now because it's like a 600, 700 page book, 800 page book, depending on what copy you. No, it's an 800 page book depending on what copy you have. 1,200 pages if you got the PDF. Okay, and it's 1,200 pages on how can. Like, what is the good? How do you get this economy? How do you get your economy running? Okay, 1,200 pages. And I'm of the opinion that you want to study the Occidental and the Oriental, the Asian and the European and the Asian, the Westerner and the Easterner, right? You want to study them both, as well as your own people, and you want to take the best that they have. And make better of it. Okay? Because you could easily give these men better employment than killing their own people. See, when killing your own people is a good avenue, when kidnapping people is a good source of income, because everybody's looking for revenue. Remember that. Everybody's looking for an income. When killing your people is a good source of income, your people are in trouble. You understand? When killing your people is not only a good source of income, but not even a risky one. Oh, I could take this kid and who's going to do anything about it? Your people are in trouble. Because now rational men, are saying to themselves, look, what's the problem? I could feed my kid. I can feed my kid, and what's the downside? The downside is, I'm harming a child. I don't even know this kid. I don't know this little girl. I don't know her. She's just another one of the human animals in a sense. And who knows? Somebody's going to come around and say, mental illness. Larry was like, why do I listen to this guy? All right, so somebody says, learning curve says, hit the like button. learning curve also says undeveloped human capital is worthless. Until you develop or are educated, you are still considered chattel. Yeah. And that's it. Yeah, people are going to look at you like what's the set? I mean, because you gotta remember bandits and pirates and all that kind of stuff. That's a normal occupation for humans. You know, normal occupation for humans is to rob other humans. Rob them of their lives, rob them of people, their kids, rob them of their material, like their wealth. Rob them of everything. That's a normal occupation. And so you form communities to protect yourselves against this normal occupation. And when you're in scarcity versus abundance, remember the Africans developed in abundance, right? A lot of our civilizations developed in abundance. We had food galore, so now we can do art and, you know, have fun stories. But there's a lot of people who grew up in scarcity, and so they don't have food galore, and they have pessimistic stories. They have stories of enemies and xenophobia, and xenophobia versus xenophilia. Check Onto Job has this. Somebody does a breakdown of Check Onto Job's two cradle theory, and they differentiate between the different economies or the different cultures. And, you know, he says the northern cradle and the southern cradle. But, like, realistically, you can break it down in an economic sense and say, well, this is the scarcity model and this is the abundance model. And in the abundance model, it's like, yeah, I'm not going to kidnap your kid. I'm going to have plenty of kids myself. And in the scarcity model, it's how am I going to, I can't trust anybody around me. I don't care for anybody around me. I don't value anybody around me. And I just have to feed myself and mine. If that means I have to feed them at the expense of your people. Anyway. Ain't nobody said nothing about that transition though. Wasn't that a nice transition? We're gonna keep going though. This is a sad story. I want you guys to understand. This is a manginus. This is a thing. So let's see why this is a subject. Why this is a subject. Now that's not good grammar, but let's see what this is. Why this is a subject. Let's go to the next one. But you guys make sure you guys check out the Haitian stuff. So let's see. Oh yeah. So this is So this is why this is a subject. Why is there a mangina thing? Why do I have a mangina category? Right. And this is it. It's because of these guys. These are why I have manginas. This is what you should think of when you see manginas. Black men straight is the only group who is not allowed to be victims, which makes them ultimate targets. # public enemy. This is an account I muted. Right. This is when I actually did mute. And it goes, everybody gets to talk about black men except black men. This, like, as soon as you see this guy, just know. Just know, no. Okay? Enemy of anti-black misandry. Right? Just that's their whole, that's their whole shtick, if you will. I don't know. But yeah, Blatchler says, yeah, black man is the only group who's not allowed to be victims. And the question always is, why do you want to be a victim? China Fox asked that on thing. But it's like, why do you want to be a victim? So yeah, that's it. Now we're gonna go to the past me's. I'm gonna show y'all this new ad. Look at this shit, man. This is so cool. Some sister did some random ass video, and I was like, yep, gotta add some audio and because this is like the definition of a past me right here. Like, just watch the fuck out. I'm sorry. Like, watch the fuck out, okay? And I only got like one past me this week. Actually, this is a serious ass past me though. But I only got one past me this week. But yeah, that's the. Because that's what it is, man. That's how it is, man. It's like, like, what the fuck am I looking at? Like, why would you. Like, she looked good. But there's something there. You gotta just pass it. Just pass it. Just pass it. Okay? I'm helping you brothers out. So this is another one, right? I mean, this is allegedly not the real woman, but there's a real woman who does this. So somebody makes a skit off a news story right here.
Like, I mean,
I can't play the audio because when you play the audio for these, I mean, eventually they just mute it. But yeah, I can't play the audio. So he cheated, so I threw his mom's ashes in the river. Now she does yell out, "Fuck you," as she throws some ashes into the river. This is exactly why I friend zone self-proclaimed crazy women, right? Now you might be like, "Hey man, this don't look real," right? So she goes, "The only reason I don't think it's fake is the disdain which she also threw the urn, like a fuck you in her mind." And it's like, get the fuck up. I did not think this was real. For the record, left my ass out. So I left my ass off. So it's random. Women arrested after throwing boyfriend's mother's ashes into Lake Fort Worth. So there was an actual woman who did it. People are saying it's not the same woman in the video. Because they're like, this woman in the video doesn't look 40. But yeah, there was an actual woman who says, Fort woman has been charged with abuse of a corpse after throwing her boyfriend's mother's ashes into Lake Fort Worth. According to the Fort Worth Police Department, the suspect, 40-year-old, threw in Monday. Police said Smith informed officers that when he returned home on Monday, he discovered that his mother's urn was missing. Yeah. So, yeah. Don't cry now. Yeah. So, yeah. So, like I said, pass me. Just like now, again, this could be a reenactment of this thing. I don't know. But yeah. Just pass them. Like you should not, just brothers, come on. I shouldn't even say brothers. Oh my gosh. This is, yeah, there's some things that, and it's like, I can't even. For some reason, I'm just at a loss for words. Let me see. Is there anything else going on though? Let me see. Alphabet Squad. I don't think there's anything from Alphabet Squad. Anything from the Comrades. Let's see the Comrades. I got nothing from the Comrades. Nevolutionaries. No, I don't have any Nevolutionaries. And then the Pan-Africans. I was going to do that Umar story, so I guess this is actually the last story. So, yeah, that's pretty much it though. I really got nothing to say about that one. Yeah, threw the mama in the lake. So, I think that's actually the gist of it. Let me see what the comments are like, and then we could probably all just head home for whatever. Real Black General says, wow, that's high ratchery. Yeah, I mean, that's like what's the mom do to you? You know what I mean? But, whew. I mean, I can't even remotely justify it. Maybe somebody could come through and explain, something. But, there's just certain things that people do. Now, this is not a violent crime per se. It's just pretty disrespectful. I mean, I'm not saying cheating is the most respectful thing to do. But usually that happens to you. You just kind of break up, if you want to break up, you don't necessarily, throw their mother's ashes into a lake, it's a little bit of an extreme reaction. But other than that, I think that's pretty much the end of the podcast. So thank you everybody for joining me. It's been 2 hours, so that's nice. Of course, enjoy your Sunday. Whatever you plan on doing. If you plan on spending time with your son on a Sunday, that's cool. If you plan on spending time with your daughter or your children, you can do that too. But yeah, make sure you guys reach out to your family. Everybody's only here for so long, and you should make the most of it. Call someone you haven't called in a while. Text someone you haven't texted in a while. Try to reconnect with others in your life, and give people compliments. The other day I was I'm on the Discord. Make sure you guys follow the Discord. I was spending time with my son, and I reflected on I was trying to explain to him some story, and I said I was complaining, blah, blah, blah. And I realized he probably didn't know what complain means, right? As a word, just a definition. So I said, well, complaining is when you say something you don't like out loud. Say when you talk about, when you announce basically what you don't like. And what happens is that I actually realized, I tend to complain a lot in my interpersonal life. And technically, this whole Energy Within is probably like a big complaint, which is not the best thing in the world, but it's fine. It's a cool program, right? But the reality is that, particularly like in an intimate setting, you shouldn't complain too much, And if you do complain, like you should probably limit your complaints to meaningful complaints, but also like put in a lot of compliments. Be like the opposite of complaining is going to be complimenting, And of course, there's still the other one, which is being compliant. But I would say try to complain less and try to compliment more, and that could probably improve your week if that was one of the issues you had, right? So definitely I would encourage everybody, go out there and compliment somebody, compliment something, hit up, like even like how I might have been like, hey, Lero, what's this mental illness thing? No, you say, hey, look, Lero, we appreciate your insight. And, we do have to consider mental illness. And I'm glad that you're thinking about the mental well-being of our people, because somebody has to. And I mean, it might not be the case that they do in the Occidental system, in the Western system, but we have to, in our original system, really care for the mental well-being of our people. Let's complement each other. And that could also help in that way. So I appreciate everybody for coming through and listening. And I want you all to enjoy the rest of your weekend, So until we speak again, Shem Hotep, Anku Ja Seneb Neb, Amen, Ma'at, Dua Netra.